Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, thanks for watching my video. If you're new here, my name's Scott Carter. I'm a licensed therapist here in the beautiful state of Utah. We got another video today that has to do with high conflict types and family court. Okay, I you know I have seen a lot of situations, a lot of custody battles, a lot of divorce, family court situations that involve someone who has a personality disorder, specifically narcissism. Borderline are the two most common things that I see. And it's a mess. It is a huge mess. I mean, if you ask me, personality disorder plus family court equals big giant mess, okay? And I use the term high conflict individual to just, it's a blanket statement just meaning any people who are just high conflict. Typically, though, again, that refers to people who have usually a cluster B personality disorder, borderline and narcissism most often, sometimes antisocial, sometimes histrionic. Mostly, I see borderline and narcissism. And narcissists, we're going to talk about narcissists today. We're going to talk about how narcissists manipulate the family court system. Uh, 5 ways that they, manipulate and sway the court in their favor. It's interesting too to see them like form certain behavior patterns. It's uncanny. It just absolutely kills me that they just seem to be able to all develop the same maladaptive and manipulative behaviors. It's not like they take a class on it, but just kind of watching them, it might look that way. So let's dive into it though. Uh, Sorry, I got it now. Okay, number one. Okay, using anger and being upset. Okay, this is one of the most common. And in fact, I really find that being angry, being upset, using outrage is a very, very common manipulative tactic. It's very narcissistic, if you ask me. It's kind of a longer explanation that deals with that. A lot of people use this. They don't provide evidence. They don't provide a solid argument. They just get angry. And if you ask me, the world is way, way easier to navigate if you're not sensitive to the anger of other people. Big time. So they use this a lot. They use it to sway decisions, influence people. This is a classic manipulation tactic. They just get upset. And I was doing a custody evaluation a few years ago, and I was on the phone with the dad, and I just remember, I mean, I told the guy right off the bat, I said, hey, listen, I have to get more information from you and ask you a lot of questions, so do me a favor and please stay on topic. And he goes, okay, I'm really upset with you. And okay, I didn't care that he was upset with me, and so he didn't get anywhere with it. But I just learned and knew very quickly that this is just what works. This is what he uses. Okay, so this one goes a long ways with a lot of people. Okay. This is one of my personal favorite, interesting ones. They like to act like they're in charge. Okay, man, it's crazy. They will show up and treat everybody like everyone's accountable to them. I'm running the show here. Everybody's accountable to me. You have to give. You can see my bullet points here. Everybody has to get permission from me to do stuff. Uh, well, you didn't run that past me, right? Everyone has to explain themselves to them. They treat the lawyers and even sometimes maybe even the judge like, well, I'm in charge here and everybody has to do what I say. This is an interesting one because to a degree this works really well. If you just show up and act like you're in charge, it's astounding how many people just go along with it. Number three, another one of my favorites, acting like they're the expert, okay? And narcissists are notorious, and I mean notorious for just acting like they're an expert in everything. Mental health, in law, medicine, and I'll give an example. Um, I was involved in a situation where the narcissistic parent, and I don't know if this person was actually diagnosable narcissism or not, sure seemed that way, but this person was a chiropractor and then went ahead and proceeded to give medical diagnosis to the child It was crazy. Even trying to usurp the medical doctor. Well, I'm a chiropractor and I know about this stuff. And narcissists will actually say that. Well, I'm an expert in this, even though they have no experience doing it. And so they use this because they really want to make it look as though that whatever they say is law, is chiseled into granite, that they are just the expert and everybody just needs to just take their word for it and listen to them, okay? Number 4. This one's a fun one. This one has trickled down to me more than once. Discrediting others and attacking their character, okay? And I don't obviously have a lot of notes here though, right? But this is a manipulation tactic because it's like, well, just because you may find a flaw in someone's personality or their character doesn't not erase evidence or facts. I mean, the sky is still blue regardless of whether or not a person is a bad person or not. It does. I mean, facts are facts. Evidence is evidence. Actions are actions. It doesn't matter if the person presenting them is a bad person or not. But they will often do this. In the case I just mentioned where the chiropractor was attempting to be the expert medically, try to discredit an actual medical doctor, a pediatrician, who's the pediatrician contradicted what this person was saying about the child, and so he attempted to discredit the pediatrician and to try to say that he knows better than the pediatrician. And that's a fun one. I've been on the receiving end of this one too, and which is why I think it's important to know when you're dealing with one of these folks, is because if you really document at length and provide evidence for all of your claims and make your argument pretty airtight, they tend to crumble pretty fast. And so I've had them try to discredit me before. They can go ahead and try my documentation. I really work hard to make sure that it's really solid. Number 5, they are notorious gaslighters. They use gaslighting in court. They build a narrative. They're working behind the scenes. Honestly, okay, what's interesting, narcissists are interesting to me because they are so, I don't know, they seem very methodical to me when it comes to judging other people, sizing other people up, getting a sense of what other people are like, who they can use to their advantage, who they can get to be on their side. And they're really good at finding those people and swaying and leveraging the group dynamics in a situation. And so you can expect them to do that in court. You can expect them to size up attorneys, other people involved, the judge, everything else. And they will try to leverage other professionals, mental health professionals. They are notorious for finding, actually that would be, I'm going to do a number 6 here in a second. Actually, I just thought of a number 6 even though I don't have it written down. But they build a narrative in court and then they work behind the scenes to try and show that that narrative is shown or that narrative is true. Okay, so even though I don't have a number 6, and I'll get to the solutions in a second, number 6 would be that number 6 is they gather their henchmen. And what I mean by that is they are notorious for finding people with even some level of credibility to back them up. And I was in a case once where this person had basically hired a low-level social worker to attempt to establish credibility. And what I realized is that this social worker had been paid by him personally, and that this social worker was just independently being paid by him to say what basically he wanted her to say. But she wasn't actively working as one. She just held a title of social worker. But narcissists will also try and find inexperienced therapists to join their side and back them up. They're notorious for doing that. So number 6 is they like to gather their henchmen. So let's talk about a few solutions to this. It's a lot more complicated than this. I try to jot down just a few notes. Really, it's about being assertive. It's about having a strong frame of a mental frame, and being assertive and confident. But first thing I like to do is recognize and call out these behaviors. Like in the case where the guy was trying to discredit a doctor, I would bring that to attention. Like, you are trying to show that this medical doctor knows less than you. Okay, good luck with that, right? So use systems that are in place, such as licensing boards or child protective services. Here's the thing. For example, a chiropractor is not in a position to be diagnosing something medically outside of their scope. And it may vary from state to state, but I'm betting that licensing boards are going to take issue with a chiropractor trying to diagnose other medical conditions. And you could get them in hot water for stuff like that. It may depend on the state, but Child Protective Services may also take issue with parents trying to provide medical diagnoses, okay? This next one, this is one of my rules. I have lots of rules for high conflict divorce and custody. I have my 5 rules, and I have my 6 rules for co-parenting. This one is one of them. This is just one of my hard, fast rules. Never defend or explain yourself to them. They're not in charge of you. They're not. And they may do this to other people in the court. Well, why did you do that? Like, I don't have to explain myself to you. You're not in charge. And they may make threats. Well, I'm going to tell the judge. I've gotten that one. I'm going to tell the judge. Okay, go ahead. Be my guest. In fact, if you don't, I will, is usually my response. You see that confident, non-fear-based response, okay? That's what I have found to be the most effective, honestly. So this last tip, learn to stop listening to your own irrational fears, okay? And I had an interesting conversation recently with someone who was trying to tell me that his ex-wife was going to sell her condo, even though his name is on the condo. And we're like, she can't sell it without your signature. And he says, well, she says she can. Why are you listening to fear? Don't listen to fear. Listen to what the law says. Listen to what the legal system says. She can't do that. So that is the end of my slides. If you want to contact me for some consultation, get some coaching on this, you got to make rules. You have to make rules, and you have to follow the rules. If you don't make the rules and you don't follow the rules, it's just going to be chaos. So I coach people on how to do that, and I say this every single time. Your lawyer has no idea how to manage a narcissist or a borderline. They cannot help you. So you can schedule a consultation through my website, saltcitycounseling.com. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We will see you on the next one.